Yeah, g'day, Dan Hendry here with the Consultant Sales Machine and Unified Purpose. So today we're joined with Paul Gordon, who has a background, an extensive background in acting and performance in general. And what he's been able to do is translate that into assisting people with their video mastery skills online so they can cast their message and their mission in the right ways and ultimately get really true to who they are, to say what they mean, and really attract the right audience into what they're doing with their business. So, without further ado, I'll pass it over to you, Paul. So, enjoy everyone else, and we'll see you soon.
Hey Dan, thanks so much for inviting me to join you here. And I have a lot I want to say and a lot I want to offer whoever is attending this great program of yours. So I'm going to express what I say here and now, and we'll take the comments afterwards, if that's all right. So a little bit about why I offer what I offer, which is video mastery in the interest of performance level presentation. I have been presenting my work all around the world for a long time. I'm an artist, I'm a performer. I create a combination of theater and dance and performance and all kinds of different audience participatory intervention and improv and all these things. This expertise has come from many, many years of honing different aspects of, what does work, what doesn't work, how have I screwed up, when I screw up, how can I improve this stuff, and I have condensed everything I have learned into the programs I teach. I teach people all over the world. Usually if I'm in a country that doesn't speak English as its prime language, I'm using an interpreter, but that's of no import. People are people all the world round. And this is where your work can improve with the tidbits I'm offering here. We all want to impact people. The fact is that we have all been in webinars or presentations that are so unbelievably boring, despite the fact that the content might be fascinating, might be really moving and inspirational. You owe it to yourself to present your work with a certain level of aplomb, a certain level of oomph, zest, moxie, whatever it is, in order to be able to affect change by inspiring people. No one can say what you truly believe in your heartfelt core the way you can. And you shouldn't expect anybody to be inspired more than the way you bring it. If you bring a certain level of energy, it will go out into the world, and those people will have a certain level less of the inspiration, though maybe it will affect them over time. There's no reason to assume that you are not delivering your work best when you present it at the level that sets it apart from all of the rest in the herd. Okay? So my prime principles are these liminal methods in between normal training. Say what you mean, get out of your own way. Okay? So here's the basic pitch. Okay? This camera universe, this expression of what you want to do when you want to express something heartfelt, is delivered straight into the camera, and then if you understand your camera universe, you will gain control over your ability to express yourself. And when you do that, you will have the confidence, or you will gain the confidence that you require in order to deliver this stuff well. So the camera universe is the first thing. Now here's where we go into the issues. Let's parse a few of the basic issues. One, the person you're looking at, the person you're addressing, is a person who is looking directly into a screen, okay? Now that person is going to either see you speak directly to them by making eye contact, or that person is going to see you looking someplace else and it will have less impact. I'll show you. This is what most people do. They look at the screen. They look at their own screen. Maybe they check their selfie mode. Oh yeah, selfie. How do I look? Oh, yes. Oh, good. I'm looking into a screen now. I'm not looking into the camera lens. Now I'm going to look right back to you, and I am going to look into the lens, and I am going to now make contact. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now I'm looking right at you. The takeaway here, do not look at your selfie. Do not selfie check yourself. Look right into the camera lens. Find your camera lens. It's on your computer or your phone. Do not look at yourself unless you absolutely have to, or unless you're going to let people know I'm about to go and do some things on the computer in order to send you some information or give you the right screenshot. So okay, now I'm gonna look away and I'm going to address this stuff. You inform the audience before you look away. In the meantime, when you look into the lens, you're talking directly to them. Good. Now, who are you talking to? You're not talking to a mass of people, and many people make this mistake. You are actually talking to one person. You're looking right into the lens, and then when I'm speaking to you, I am speaking to you and you alone. One person. Why? Because on the other side of your camera lens is a person just like you looking into a screen, and you know what that person is seeing in their screen? They are seeing what you are seeing, which is your entire camera universe. Whole thing. This is the concentration and the focus. So when I talk into the lens to one person only, I'm talking to you. You are experiencing my full focus and attention, and you respond accordingly by understanding that this stuff is personal. Because in fact, after all, it is personal. My message, these things I care about, I reach you and you alone. We speak to one person. Now, I have spoken on stages to, well, usually anywhere between 500 and 6,000 people. However, one time I spoke to 25,000 people. That's a big audience. That's a big live crowd. You look into the audience and you don't address a giant crowd. It's not like a rock concert. Hello, London! Okay, you look into that giant crowd and you still address as if you're addressing one person. And when I've performed on TV shows like the David Letterman show, which went out to 20 million households that night, you still look into the lens and you think as if you're addressing one person. Here's the focus, okay? Good. Got it? Moving on. Nice. So now, going from the concept of the basic camera universe, we're now going to address the issue of clarity and content and copy. When you do this, you are thinking about what you want to say in a way that's very specific and very condensed and make it very clear. You don't waste your time. Okay? You don't spend your time searching for all the different permutations of something just off the top of your head right there and then. Do your best to consider the issues that you're talking about, and then practice them a little bit so that you can start to parse the information into something condensed so that you can pay respect or owe it to the listener, viewer, that they are respectfully devoting some time to you. When you do that, you spend the time more economically. And you also make sure that you are not spending a lot of time ah. So give it a little bit of practice so that you can focus in and condense what you want to say into a shorter message. That brings me to the next issue here. What is a shorter message? Well, a shorter message is something where you understand what you are going to say, how you are going to say it. You don't have to say it exactly the same way every time, but do get to the heart of it. And what is this message? This message is based on something you care about, and it should remain on point. So rule number 2 in the content and copy section of this is that you don't just stray and go off on diversions and then get lost in that stuff. Remember what you're talking about and pull it back in. If you have some kind of tangent, it's perfectly fine, but pull it back in so that you give the viewer these threads to follow and then pull them back into a controlled lecture, a controlled, understood, premeditated direction. Okay? So now we're going to get into the concept of storytelling. What is storytelling? Well, we all tell stories. We're good at telling stories. Actually, if you sit down at a dinner table or a business lunch or whatever it is, you are going to share various stories. And why do you share these stories? Because they anchor the ideas that you're trying to express, not only in some generalized, Disneyfied, stereotypical concept, but more so into something personal. And your personal expression actually works on the listener viewer. Why? Because you develop empathy in them. You see, you add details to your story, and when you do that, your particular details make your story into something really, really specific. And when you do that, it becomes less stereotypical, and then the viewer actually starts to relate, not that they understand exactly what you do or have done the same exact thing, maybe if you're lucky they have, but they will think in their mind, I will think in my mind when you tell your story, well, I haven't done exactly that, but I have done my version of that with this. And then when they have associated your details with their own individual story that they've re-scripted from what you're saying, then you have them inside your story. And that story goes from the microcosm of your uniqueness to the universality of everybody else. You see, your detailed story goes from microcosm to macrocosm by adding the details of your own personal experience. You have to sort through and figure out which are the good details in order to figure that stuff out correctly and develop maximum impact in your delivery. But that's just practice. Now I want to get to the next component. How do you examine the different parts of a story or the different parts of a delivery of whatever message you're trying to deliver? This is where we use what I refer to as the inner censor. Okay, the inner censor is this guy or girl on your shoulder, and that inner censor does not always serve the purpose that is most constructive at the moment. When you are looking through your stories and starting to sort out all the possible stuff, you are going to brainstorm. And when you brainstorm, that is the time that you banish the inner censor. Spray some inner censor, be gone. And you get the inner censor out of the room, because when you brainstorm, you have to get out of your own way and let all the good stuff and all the stupid shit out of your head in order to find this big garbage pile of ideas. So you make the garbage pile of ideas, which includes the stupid stuff and the good stuff. Why? Because you, no matter what you think of yourself, are incapable of extruding or extracting or summoning only the good ideas first. You have to think of the ideas as good and bad in a line, and one at a time they jump out of your brain or out of your mouth and you put them on paper. And you are not in control of where in the order the really good ones are. Therefore, you get the inner censor out of the room and you just bring forth all of the different good stuff and bad stuff into a big garbage pile of ideas. After you have done that, and you have not edited yourself at all, that big garbage pile of ideas can have your assistance of the inner censor. So you bring that inner censor back into the room, and then you sort through and you pick with a stick and you poke and prod and you figure out which things are good, which linkages make the most sense, what stuff is the most potentially effective inclusion for your delivery. That is the time to bring the inner censor back in, and you can use that inner censor to edit your work. But not before then, not during the brainstorming process, okay? So, now I'm going to throw in a little bit of performance mastery concept, okay? Performance mastery is something that many people consider to be a special quality that they may or may not have that makes people be able to go out there and really bring it. Jazz hands. You really bring the energy, you really bring the oomph. Actually, I think of it as a completely different thing. I think of it as the opposite of bringing the goods. You see, in my 33 years performing on stages and TV shows, I have come to the conclusion that performance level mindset shift is actually about addressing and understanding all of the negative things, the potentially problematic stuff that is going to try to demean and undermine what you are trying to do. So, what we are actually looking at is performance mindset is a way of addressing the concepts of failure and turning failure from your foe to your ally. So, I teach this stuff on a regular basis, okay? I teach artists, I teach business people, I teach entrepreneurs how to get out of their own way with this. But the first thing I want you to understand is that failure, and you probably know this, I'm not giving you anything new here. Failure is your friend. We all have learned more from failure in our lives than from our successes. When I succeed at something, I don't sit there and sort through and think, wow, how did I succeed so well? I basically stand there and pat myself on the back, feeling great, and go, when I fail, that's when I sit down introspectively and examine what I did. What did I do wrong? Did I not prepare enough? Did I over-prepare? Was I not nervous enough? Was I too nervous? Did I get in my own way, and how did I get in my own way? Did I not bring myself back on message? Did I stray too far and experiment with just going off on a tangent too much? Did I not self-check so that I could make sure that that was the thing? Did I not understand? Did I not practice enough? Whatever it is, these are all the different aspects. And, I don't need to tell you this, but you probably understand the basic gist, the basic story of Thomas Edison creating not the first light bulb, but the first mass-produced light bulb, right? So in order to develop the first mass-produced electric light, he needed that element to glow and not melt. When you connected it, it would have its resistance would make it hot, make it glow, and if it wasn't the right material, then it would get too hot, it would melt, and the connection is gone. Okay, so he was going to his general store for the 700th time to get some new material to test and figure out the right element for this electric light that nobody had mass-produced before. And the general manager of the store said, "You've failed 700 times, why don't you just give up?" To which Edison replied, "I have not failed 700 times. I have not failed once. I now know 700 ways not to make light. And the day I fail at that, I'll show you an electric light bulb." So what would have happened if Edison just said, you know what, you're right. I might as well, I'll just give up. Someone else would have eventually invented that, and we would not know Edison as the father or grandfather or whatever it is of electric light, something that most of the world uses on a regular basis. Failure is part of the process, and we learn better from it. So embrace failure, not as your foe, but as your ally. The ways to work through that I can get into detail at some other point. I'm not there right now for this because, Dan, I know you know you have a lot to cover. So I encourage any and all feedback, questions, comments, inquiries, whatever it is, and I'm happy to offer what I can in more detail at a later date. But that's it. Those are the basic things. Camera universe, message and copy, storytelling, and performance-based mindset, failure as an ally. These are what you want to offer and the way you want to present your messages to the world and turn them into something that is impactful. I'll leave you with this. Just as I'm speaking to you about things I deeply care about right now, heartfelt, passionate messages, spoken well with my own unique flair, I am preaching the gospel of me. So will you always be, if you accept it, preaching the gospel of you. That's the stuff. That's the secret sauce. People aren't buying a product. They're buying your passionate stories that link that product to something truly human, something truly helpful, and they need you to guide them into a deeper understanding of that. That's the gospel of you. That's why messaging with pizzazz, moxie, verve, vim, vigor, that's why this works. I hope that you can take this information and this understanding in order to accelerate your level of impact with nice, energetic content. Because there are plenty of people out there who are doing those boring, lackluster presentations. Do you really want to be one of them? Join the pantheon of those who are doing it with this extra added special sauce so that you can inspire and motivate people the way they want to. They want to be part of your stuff. So, that's it. That's my pitch. That's my belief in the gospel of deep, honest, passionate messaging. Dan, thanks so much. All of you folks out there, my very best to you. I look forward to hearing feedback, comments, questions. See ya. Dan, go get 'em, man. I'm on your side. You're doing great things. Speak soon. I'll take this off the air now.